his toast. "It's no good," he mused. "I can't possibly take on any more wishes, especially not a grade 4 wish. It would be irresponsible. I already have over 340 wish snags to deal with. 79 of those are urgent, 23 are nearly beyond repair, and the whole reason I am in this mess is because I've granted too many wishes." He slathered his toast with lashings of blackberry jam. Then he hid the wish card inside an empty biscuit tin in the hope that he would forget all about it. Rupus only made it as far as the hallway. But that poor boy! And I do have some responsibility. Oh, fiddlesticks! Rupus stuffed the last morsel of toast into his mouth. I suppose I'd better go and check he's all right. Chapter 2. Felix Jones's Wish. Felix Jones adjusted the hood on his raincoat as he trudged across the gloomy sports ground at Whittlestone Primary. His worn-out football boots squelched with every step. In the distance, he could hear the excited chatter of his teammates as they talked about the football game they'd just played. No one talked to him. Felix had joined the team last term with his best friend Max. But now Max had moved out of town and Felix was pretty much on his own. He barely knew any of the other boys. Most of them were in the year above him, and all of them were taller than Felix. Worst of all, he hadn't contributed a single goal all term, apart from the own goal he'd scored this afternoon. Felix winced at the memory. A trickle of rain ran down his neck and seeped into his already damp shirt. There was no sign of his sister Rebecca's yellow Volvo in the car park. He checked his watch. 17:37. Of course she was late to collect him. That was if she'd even remembered to come in the first place. It would be getting dark soon. Felix shivered. He had the uneasy feeling that someone was watching him, and turned to check nobody was behind him. The field was empty, but still he couldn't shake off his growing sense of unease. It wasn't just today. He'd had the feeling for weeks, even before Max had gone. Looking for a distraction, Felix headed to the car park's rusty vending machine. He took out a £1 coin from the bottom of his sports bag and slotted it into the machine before punching in the code for a peanut butter snack bar. The shiny wrapper wound its way forward and stopped. His snack was stuck halfway down the machine, between the glass and a particularly plump bag of crisps. Just his luck. And the machine had swallowed his £1. There was a clink as a penny landed in the change box. Things really weren't going his way today. He retrieved the penny of change and stared at the empty car park again. There was still no sign of Rebecca's car. She was probably out with her friends and had forgotten all about him. She wasn't interested in spending time with him these days. With a resigned sigh, Felix swapped his football boots for trainers and began a steady trudge homewards. His eyes remained glued to the pavement, counting puddles out of boredom until he reached the centre of town. In the market square, Felix finally lifted his gaze. Whittlestone's wish fountain stood proudly in place, surrounded on four sides by merry shop fronts and cafes. A host of copper pennies shone below the rippling water, twinkling under the warm light of the street lamps. Felix's sense of unease dissipated. It had finally stopped raining. He paused by the fountain and reached into his pocket, remembering his penny of change. Felix knew that magical things didn't happen to people like him. He'd walked past this particular fountain thousands of times before without any thought of making a wish. But something about this evening felt different. Besides, a penny wasn't worth much. Felix stared at the copper coin in his palm. In that moment, to his surprise, he knew exactly what to wish for. Why not? It had to be worth a shot. Felix held his breath as he dropped his penny into the water. Chapter 3. The Penny Fisherman. The surface of the water continued to ripple as Felix's penny settled at the bottom of the fountain. He watched it for a couple of seconds, but nothing else happened. He wasn't sure why he was expecting it to. He rubbed his cold hands and looked up at the warm glow of the bakery across the square. Row upon row of cinnamon buns shone in its window. Felix felt a pang of sadness as he remembered rainy afternoons spent sheltering there with Rebecca when they were younger.